Before we start, quick like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. The first time Melissa called me boring was at her company holiday party. We were standing by the bar, surrounded by her co-workers in designer suits drinking expensive cocktails, when she turned to me and said it loud enough for 3 people to hear. "This is my husband, Nathan. He's an accountant." "Boring, I know." She laughed. Her co-workers laughed. I smiled and took a sip of my beer because what else do you do when your wife uses you as the setup for a joke? That was 2 years ago, December 2021. I remember because it was snowing outside and I'd driven us to the party in my reliable Toyota Camry that she also thought was boring. I'm Nathan Webb. I'm 37 years old. I'm a CPA with my own practice. I do taxes, bookkeeping, and financial consulting for small businesses. It's steady work. Predictable. Some might even say boring. Melissa is 34. She works in marketing for a tech startup. The kind of place with ping pong tables and kombucha on tap, and people who use disruption as a verb. She's vibrant, outgoing, the life of every party. People gravitate toward her. We met in college. She was studying communications. I was studying accounting. She said she liked that I was grounded. Stable. Different from the drama she was used to. We got married at 28. Built a life. Bought a house in the suburbs. 2 cars, a dog named Cooper, season tickets to the local theater that I actually enjoyed and she tolerated. For the first few years, everything was good. Normal. We had our routines. Sunday morning pancakes. Wednesday date nights. Friday game nights with our couple friends. But somewhere around year 6, Melissa started changing. Or maybe I didn't change, and that became the problem. She started going out more. Happy hours with coworkers. Weekend brunches with her girlfriends. Networking events that ran late. She'd come home energized, buzzing with stories about interesting people doing interesting things. I'd be on the couch reading a book or watching a documentary. She'd look at me like I was a piece of furniture she'd forgotten she owned. "Don't you want to do something?" she'd ask. "I am doing something. I'm reading. I mean something fun. Something exciting. This is fun for me." She'd sigh and go to the bedroom to scroll through her phone. The distance started there. Small at first, then wider. The boring comments increased. At dinner parties. At family gatherings. In front of our friends. "Nathan won't try that restaurant. Too adventurous for him." I wanted to go to the concert, but Nathan would rather watch paint dry. My husband thinks a wild Friday night is switching from spreadsheets to Sudoku. Always delivered with a laugh. Always just a joke. Except jokes are supposed to be funny, and after the 50th time, they just feel like cuts. I tried talking to her about it once. We were in bed about 8 months ago, and she'd just come home from another late networking event. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Sure. Do you actually think I'm boring? Or is it just something you say to get laughs?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Honestly, a little of both." That landed different than I expected. "What does that mean?" "It means you're comfortable, Nathan. And comfortable is great for some things. But it's also predictable. We never do anything spontaneous. We never take risks. You've worn the same style of shirt for 10 years. I like these shirts. I know you do. That's kind of my point. So you want me to change? I want you to want to change. There's a difference." I thought about that for a long time after she fell asleep. What did it mean to want to change? Was I supposed to suddenly become someone I wasn't just to keep up with her? I decided to try. Small things at first. I bought new shirts. Different colors. Patterns even. I suggested restaurants I'd never been to. I planned a surprise weekend trip to a bed and breakfast 2 hours away. She seemed pleased at first. "Look at you being spontaneous," she said with a smile. But it didn't last. Within a month, the comments came back. The eye rolls. The jokes about her boring husband. I realized something then. Nothing I did would be enough. Because the problem wasn't actually that I was boring. The problem was that she decided I was. And once someone decides that about you, they filter everything through that lens. New shirt? Trying something different. Cute. Nice dinner planned. Finally showing some effort. Everything became evidence of me trying to be less boring instead of just being who I was. So I stopped trying. I went back to my normal clothes. My normal routines. If she thought I was boring, fine. At least I'd be authentically boring. That's when things really deteriorated. 3 months ago, Melissa started working late. A lot. Big project at work, she said. They were launching a new campaign, and she was the lead. I believed her because why wouldn't I? She'd never given me a reason not to trust her. And she seemed genuinely stressed about work. But then the late nights turned into overnight trips. Weekend conferences. team building retreats. She'd come home exhausted, dump her bag by the door, and head straight for the shower. She stopped telling me about her day, stopped asking about mine. We became roommates who occasionally had dinner together. One Tuesday night, about 6 weeks ago, I came home early from a client meeting that got canceled. Melissa's car was in the driveway. I walked in and heard her voice coming from upstairs. She was on the phone in our bedroom. I could hear her through the door. "I know, I feel the same way," she was saying, voice soft, almost tender. "It's just complicated right now." Pause. He wouldn't understand. He doesn't get it. Another pause. "I wish I could just be with you without all this." My hand was on the doorknob. I didn't turn it. I just stood there listening. "I know. Me too. Soon. I promise." She hung up. I heard her moving around. I backed away from the door, went downstairs, made noise coming in like I'd just arrived. "Melissa?" I called. "I'm home early." She came down a few minutes later, face neutral. "Hey, how come? Meeting canceled. Thought I'd surprise you." "Cool. I'm actually heading out soon. Girls' dinner." "On a Tuesday?" "Yeah. Impromptu thing. Jenna's having a crisis." Jenna, her coworker. The one she'd mentioned a dozen times over the past few months. "Okay," I said. "Have fun." She left 20 minutes later. I watched her pull out of the driveway and immediately called my buddy Marcus. He's a private investigator. Does mostly corporate work, but handles personal cases too. "Marcus, I need a favor." "What's up?" "I think my wife's cheating." He was quiet for a second. "You sure you want to go down this road?" "No, but I need to know." "All right, give me the details." I told him everything. The late nights, the phone call, the distance. He took notes and said he'd start watching her. "How long do you think this will take?" I asked. "If she's cheating, usually not long. People get comfortable. Sloppy. I'll know within a week." It took 3 days. Marcus called me Friday afternoon. "I've got something. Can you meet?" We met at a coffee shop downtown. He slid a folder across the table. "Your wife's been meeting someone. Guy named Derek Chun. Works at the same company. They've been going to a hotel on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. Same hotel. Same room." I opened the folder. Photos. Melissa and a man I'd never seen. Walking into a hotel together. Close. Comfortable. His hand on her lower back. "How long?" I asked. "Based on what I've seen, at least a few weeks. Could be longer." I stared at the photos. My wife. Who called me boring. Who said I wasn't exciting enough. Cheating on me with a coworker in a mid-range hotel off the highway. "You want me to keep watching?" Marcus asked. "No. This is enough." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to file for divorce." "You want to confront her first?" "No point. This is pretty clear." He nodded. "For what it's worth, I'm sorry, man." "Me too." I took the folder, paid Marcus for his time, and drove to a law firm I'd researched a week ago. Just in case. Because part of me had known this was coming even if I didn't want to admit it. The lawyer's name was Catherine Ortiz. She was in her 40s, sharp, professional. Her office smelled like coffee and old books. "What can I do for you?" she asked. I handed her the folder. "I need to file for divorce. My wife's been cheating. I have proof." She looked through the photos, made notes. "This is solid evidence. Infidelity gives us leverage." "How long have you been married?" 9 years. "Any kids?" "No." "Assets?" "Property. We own a house together. Joint accounts. 2 cars. Pretty straightforward." "And what do you want out of this?" "I want out. Fast. I'll be fair on the split, but I'm not dragging this out." She nodded. "I can work with that. We'll file on grounds of adultery. Push for a quick settlement. With this evidence, she won't have much room to fight." "Good. One question. Does she know you know?" "No." "Keep it that way until we serve her. It's cleaner." I signed the paperwork. Paid the retainer. Left her office feeling strange. Not angry exactly. Just tired. I went home. Melissa wasn't there. I packed a bag, grabbed Cooper, and drove to my brother's place. Tom opened the door and saw my face. "What happened?" "Melissa's cheating. I filed for divorce." He didn't ask if I was sure. Didn't suggest counseling. He just stepped aside and let me in. "You can stay as long as you need," he said. "Thanks." That night, I slept on Tom's couch with Cooper on the floor next to me. I didn't sleep much. Just stared at the ceiling and thought about 9 years of marriage ending because I wasn't exciting enough. Melissa called around 10. I didn't answer. She texted, "Where are you? Your car's gone." I didn't respond. "Nathan, seriously, where are you?" I turned off my phone. The next morning, Catherine called. We're serving her today. At her office. Are you ready for this? Yeah. She's going to call you. Probably pretty upset. Don't engage. Let her call me. Everything goes through lawyers now. Got it. At 11:30, my phone started blowing up. Melissa. 15 calls in 20 minutes. Then texts. What the fuck is this? You're divorcing me? We need to talk. This is insane. Call me now. You can't just do this without talking to me. I blocked her number and forwarded everything to Catherine. An hour later, Catherine called back. She's trying to reach you? Yeah. I blocked her. Good. Her lawyer just called. She wants a meeting. Wants to work things out. There's nothing to work out. That's what I told them. They're pushing back. Saying the photos don't prove anything. That you're overreacting. The photos show her walking into a hotel with another man. I know. I told them that. They're scrambling. She doesn't want this to go public. Bad for her career apparently. I don't care about her career. I know. But we can use that. Push for a fast settlement. She agrees to our terms. This stays quiet. She fights. We go to court, and it all becomes public record. Do it. Over the next week, the lawyers went back and forth. Melissa tried to reach me through mutual friends. Through Tom. Through my parents. I didn't respond to any of it. Finally, 10 days after filing, Catherine called with news. She's agreed to settle. House goes to you since you can buy her out. Cars stay with whoever's been driving them. Joint accounts get split 50-50. She's waiving alimony. Why? Because she knows she's screwed. The photos are damning. She cheats. She loses sympathy. Her lawyer advised her to take the settlement and move on quietly. When can we finalize? 2 weeks if she signs everything. We're drawing up the agreement now. Those 2 weeks crawled. I moved back into the house, changed the locks, packed up Melissa's things, and left them in the garage. She tried to come by twice. First time, I didn't answer the door. Second time, I opened it, but didn't let her in. Nathan, please. Can we just talk? No. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Can't we work through this? You didn't make a mistake, I said. You made a choice. Multiple choices. Over weeks or months. That's not something you work through. So you're just giving up on us? I'm giving up on being called boring while you cheat on me. There's a difference. Her face crumpled. That's not fair. What's not fair is spending 9 years with someone who made me feel like I was never enough. I never said that. You said it every time you called me boring. Every time you rolled your eyes at my hobbies. Every time you made me the punchline to impress your friends. And then you went and found someone more exciting behind my back. Derek means nothing. Great. Then you'll have no problem moving on. I closed the door. She stood there for a while. Eventually she left. The agreement was finalized 3 weeks later. We signed separately. I never saw her. The house was mine. I bought her out using money from an investment account I'd built before we got married. The settlement was fair but firm. She got what she was entitled to and nothing more. The divorce was final 60 days after that. Fast for a divorce. Catherine said it was because Melissa didn't fight. She wanted it over quickly. Probably so she could move on with Derek without the complication of a husband. I heard through mutual friends that she told people I'd blindsided her. That I'd filed out of nowhere without trying to save the marriage. That I'd been cold and unreasonable. I didn't correct the narrative. People who knew me knew the truth. People who didn't weren't worth convincing. I threw myself into work. Took on new clients. Expanded my practice. Started teaching a financial literacy course at the community college. I also started doing things I'd always wanted to do but felt weird about because Melissa thought they were boring. I joined a book club. All men, ages 35 to 60, meeting monthly to discuss fiction and drink beer. Best group of guys I'd met in years. I took a cooking class. Not because I needed to learn to cook, but because I wanted to get better at it. Made some great meals. Enjoyed the process. I started hiking on weekends. Found trails within an hour of the house. Took Cooper. Just me and the dog in the quiet. It was peaceful. Boring maybe, but mine. About 4 months after the divorce, I ran into Melissa at a grocery store. She was in the produce section. I was grabbing coffee. We made eye contact. She looked tired. I felt nothing. Nathan, she said. Melissa. Awkward pause. How have you been? She asked. Good. You. I'm okay. Still adjusting. Makes sense. Another pause. I wanted to say I'm sorry. For how things ended. I didn't handle it well. Okay. That's it. Just okay. What do you want me to say? I don't know. That you forgive me? That we can be civil. We are being civil, I said. I don't hate you. I just don't have anything to say to you. She looked like I'd slapped her. You really don't care at all, do you? I cared for 9 years. You spent those years telling me I wasn't enough. Then you proved it by cheating. I'm done caring. I never said you weren't enough. You said I was boring. Repeatedly. In public. To our friends. To your coworkers. You made me a joke. Then you found someone who wasn't boring and had an affair. What part of that says I was enough? She didn't have an answer. I'm not mad anymore. I continued. I'm just done. We're divorced. You can live your exciting life. I'll live my boring one. We don't need to be friends. I walked away. Heard her call after me. Didn't turn around. At the register, my hands were shaking slightly. Not from anger. From relief. I'd said what I needed to say, and I meant it. 6 months after the divorce, my buddy Tom set me up on a blind date. Her name was Rachel. She was a librarian. Tom said we'd get along. A librarian? I said, you're setting me up with a librarian? You'll like her. Trust me. I almost canceled. Dating felt exhausting. But Tom insisted. Rachel and I met at a quiet restaurant. She showed up in jeans and a sweater, glasses perched on her nose, carrying a tote bag with a book sticking out. Sorry, she said, sitting down. I was reading in the car. Lost track of time. What are you reading? She showed me. Classic literature. Something I'd read in college and loved. We talked about books for an hour. Then cooking. Then hiking. Then music. The conversation flowed easily. Comfortably. This might sound weird, she said over dessert. But this is the most relaxed I've been on a first date in years. Same. I think it's because neither of us is trying to be impressive. We're just talking. Is that a bad thing? No, she said, smiling. It's a great thing. Most people try so hard to be interesting they forget to just be themselves. I've been told I'm boring, I admit it. My ex-wife said it a lot. Why did she think you were boring? Because I like routine. I read a lot. I don't go out to clubs or do spontaneous things. Rachel nodded thoughtfully. That's not boring. That's knowing what you like. There's a difference. You think so? I know so. Boring is having no interests. You have plenty of interests. They're just not flashy. And flashy is overrated. I liked her immediately. We started seeing each other regularly. Dinners. Movies. Bookstore browsing. She introduced me to her favorite hiking trails. I taught her how to make a perfect omelet. 3 months in, she asked, why did your marriage really end? We were at my place, cooking dinner together. Cooper was asleep in the corner. She cheated, I said. I found out. I filed for divorce. Just like that. Just like that. No trying to work it out. What was there to work out? She'd been sleeping with a co-worker for weeks, maybe months. She called me boring constantly. Made me feel like I was never enough. Why would I fight for that? Rachel stirred the pasta sauce. You know what I think? What? I think she didn't think you were boring. I think she was bored with herself. And instead of dealing with that, she blamed you. That stopped me. People who are secure in who they are don't need constant excitement. She continued. They don't need to put their partners down. She needed you to be the problem, so she didn't have to look at her own stuff. Huh. You're not boring, Nathan. You're steady. There's a huge difference. And steady is underrated. I kissed her. Thank you. For what? For getting it. A year later, Rachel moved in. We turned one of the spare rooms into a library. Shelves on every wall. 2 reading chairs. A small table between them for coffee. We spent most evenings there. Reading. Talking. Existing comfortably together. Is this boring? I asked one night. She looked up from her book. Is what boring? This. Us. Reading on a Friday night instead of going out. Do you want to go out? Not really. Then it's not boring. It's perfect. She was right. About 2 years after my divorce, Tom called with news. You're not going to believe this. What? Melissa got engaged. Okay. To Derek. The guy she cheated with. Good for them. You're not upset? Why would I be upset? I don't know. Doesn't it bother you that she's moving on? Tom, I moved on the day I filed. What she does now isn't my concern. Fair enough. Just thought you should know. I appreciate it. But honestly, I don't care. And I didn't. Melissa was part of my past. A chapter I'd closed and moved on from. Rachel and I got engaged 6 months later. Small proposal. Just us on a hiking trail. Cooper running ahead. The sun setting through the trees. You're sure about this? She asked after I'd gotten down on one knee. I'm sure. Even though I'm boring too. You're not boring. We're just not chaotic. And that's exactly what I want. Me too. We got married in a small ceremony. Immediate family and close friends. No big production. Just vows, dinner, and dancing to music we actually liked. During the reception, Rachel's sister gave a toast. I've known Rachel her whole life, she said. And I've never seen her happier than she is with Nathan. They're perfect for each other. Both total nerds. Both happy staying in with a book. Both completely comfortable being exactly who they are. Everyone laughed. It felt warm. Genuine. Nothing like the jokes Melissa used to make. A few years into my second marriage, I got a message on social media. From Melissa. Hey, I know it's been a while. I wanted to reach out and say I'm sorry. Really sorry. For everything. You didn't deserve how I treated you. I was dealing with my own shit, and I took it out on you. I hope you're happy now. You deserve to be. I read it twice. Then I showed Rachel. You going to respond? She asked. Should I? That's up to you. What do you want to say? I thought about it. Then I typed back. I appreciate the apology. I am happy. I hope you are too. Take care. Short. Civil. Final. Good response, Rachel said. Yeah. I don't need closure from her. I already have it. She kissed my cheek. I love that about you. What? You don't carry grudges. You just move on. What's the point of holding on to anger? It just weighs you down. Exactly. We went back to our evening. Cooper curled up between us. Rachel reading a mystery novel. Me reviewing a client's financials. Boring? Maybe. But it was my life. Built on honesty, respect, and mutual appreciation. Melissa had called me boring and used it as an excuse to cheat. She'd made me feel small for being who I was. But here's what she never understood. Boring is subjective. What she found boring, Rachel found comforting. What Melissa saw as predictable, Rachel saw as reliable. I wasn't too boring. I was just wrong for Melissa. And she was wrong for me. The difference is, I accepted that and moved on. She tried to change me, failed, then cheated. When she called me boring, she wanted me to shrink. To apologize for being myself. To become someone more exciting for her entertainment. Instead, I showed her how exciting divorce court could be. Filed papers. Provided evidence. Settled fairly and quickly. Moved on with my life. No drama. No begging. No trying to win her back. Just clean, boring efficiency. The kind you get when you're an accountant who knows exactly what he's worth. Melissa wanted excitement. She got Derek and whatever life they built together. I heard through mutual friends they had a kid. Got married. Moved to a bigger city. Good for them. Genuinely. I got Rachel. Got a life of comfortable evenings and shared interests. Got a partner who saw my boring qualities as features, not bugs. We bought a bigger house with space for a proper library. Adopted another dog, a rescue named Bailey who got along great with Cooper. Spent weekends hiking, cooking, reading, and existing happily in our quiet routine. People sometimes asked Rachel what she saw in me. He's stable, she'd say. Loyal. Honest. He knows who he is, and he's comfortable with it. That's rare. But isn't he boring? They'd ask. Only if you need constant chaos to feel alive, she'd reply. I don't. So he's perfect. That's the thing about being called boring. It only matters if you let it. Melissa spent years trying to make me feel less than. Trying to turn my contentment into a character flaw. But contentment isn't a flaw. It's a choice. A good one. I chose to be happy with simple things. Good books. Good food. Good company. She chose to find that insufficient and look elsewhere. When I found out, I chose to leave instead of accepting disrespect. She chose to fight the divorce initially, then gave up when she realized the evidence was overwhelming. I chose to move forward. She chose to reach out years later with apologies I didn't need. Every step of the way, we both made choices. Mine led to peace. Hers led to whatever she's dealing with now. I don't know if she's happy. I don't wonder about it. I don't check her social media or ask mutual friends for updates. Because she's not my story anymore. She's a footnote. A lesson learned. Rachel is my story now. Our library. Our dogs. Our weekend hikes. Our quiet Friday nights. The life Melissa would call boring. The life I call perfect. So yeah, my ex-wife said I was too boring for her. That I wasn't exciting enough. That I needed to change. And I showed her how exciting divorce court could be. With evidence. With lawyers. With a settlement agreement that left no room for ambiguity. I showed her that boring men know how to handle their business. They dot their I's and cross their T's. They prepare. They execute. They move on. No mess. No drama. Just results. And the result was this. I got my life back. My house. My peace of mind. And eventually, a partner who loves me exactly as I am. Melissa got divorced, remarried, and a life with someone supposedly more exciting. I hope it's everything she wanted, because what I have is everything I need. A boring Friday night at home with my wife, my dogs, and a good book. No apologies. No regrets. No excitement necessary. Just contentment. And that's not boring. That's winning.